Hello everyone. My name is Miho. This channel introduces things you should know about Japan and Japanese people for those who are interested in Japanese culture and customs, and those who are thinking about traveling to Japan. I provide information unique to Japan, such as culture, food, art, lifestyle, and tourism. I also support the Japan national soccer team. Today's theme is It's the Japanese national flag. Surprisingly, it was only recently, in August 1999, that it was designated the national flag by Japanese law. The Japanese national flag is a rectangular white flag with a bright red circle in the center. This flag is officially called Nishoki. The shape of the flag is a rectangle with its length 2/3 its width. The diameter of the rising sun is 3/5 of the length and is centered in the center of the flag. The background color is white, and the rising sun is crimson red. It is symmetrical from top to bottom and left to right. The size and position of the round part of the flag is slightly different from the rising sun flag before this law was enacted. Until then, the aspect ratio was 7:10, and the rising sun was drawn with its center at a point that was 1/100th of its horizontal length shifted from the center of the flag toward the flagpole. It is said that the slight shift to the left of the center was intended to create a visual effect so that it would appear to be in the center when the flag flutters. This is a common mistake even among Japanese people, but the round part in the center is not red, but crimson red. However, the exact color is not defined in the law. It is definitely a red color, but it is a dark shade, so it is called crimson red. What does this Nishoki flag represent? It's the sun. But usually the sun is depicted in white, yellow, or gold, and depicting the sun in red seems to be unique to Japan. However, initially, like most other countries in Japan, it was mostly depicted in yellow or gold. By the way, the tradition of representing the sun with a red circle was brought to Japan with the introduction of Buddhism during the Han Dynasty in China. And red and white are traditional Japanese colors that are considered auspicious. It is said that red represents philanthropy and vitality, and white represents holiness and purity, and this is said to have been a factor in the establishment of the red Nishoki flag on a white background. Even when children draw pictures, the sun is painted red. In other words, the symbolic image of the sun equals red is firmly established in Japanese culture. It seems strange if you think about it, but I never questioned it either. Even in modern Japanese weather forecasts, the symbol for sunny days is a red sun. Yellow seems to be more common overseas. I noticed something while researching other countries about this weather forecast symbol. It has nothing to do with the sun, but the rain symbol. Overseas it is a design of raindrops falling from clouds, but in Japan it is an umbrella. I did some research, and it seems that Japan is the only country that uses an umbrella symbol for rain. This comes from differences in umbrella culture. It seems that people overseas cannot associate rain with umbrellas. Japanese people, who use the most umbrellas in the world, hate getting wet even in light rain. Indeed, when I look at people from overseas who come to Japan, they don't seem to use umbrellas even when it's just a little rain. However, unlike other countries, Japan has a high humidity, so it takes a long time for things to dry when they get wet. What's more, it continues to rain continuously without stopping anytime soon, which seems unbearable for clean-freaking Japanese people. In fact, I always carry an umbrella in my bag, whatever the weather. Japanese folding umbrellas are small, sturdy, and colorful. What's more, Japanese people use umbrellas even when it's sunny. This is because Japanese people dislike sunburn, and tan skin is not seen as cool like it is overseas. It seems that the culture of using parasols does not exist overseas. So it takes courage to use an umbrella when it's sunny overseas. Let's get back to our original topic. Japanese people imagine the sun as red, and why is it red? It's because it represents the morning sun. Japan has been known as the land of the rising sun since ancient times. The Japanese archipelago is located to the east of the Asian continent, and is therefore the place where the sun arises. In 607, Japan's Prince Shotoku sent an official letter to Emperor Yang of Sui in China, beginning with, "From the Emperor where the sun rise." Incidentally, Emperor Yang was referred to as, "to the Emperor where the sun sets." Even today, the sun rises first in Japan. And the sun sets last in America. Japan has had a tradition of sun worship since ancient times. The Japanese are an agricultural people who make a living by cultivating rice, and the sun has long been regarded as a sacred being, something to be grateful for and revered. The sun goddess is Amaterasu Amakami. Amaterasu is said to be a female deity, the sun goddess, the highest deity among the said 8 million gods, and even the ancestor of the emperor. She is enshrined at Ise Shrine in Ise City, Mie Prefecture. As a result, Ise Shrine is the highest-ranking shrine in Japan. Amaterasu has another characteristic. And that is that she is considered to be an incarnation of Buddha in a system known as Shinbutsu Shugo. Japan's ancient gods are Buddhas, absolute ideal beings who appeared in this world in various forms in order to save all living beings. The idea of identifying gods and Buddhas based on this idea is called Shinbutsu Shugo. And Amaterasu is considered to be the incarnation of Dainichi Nyorai and Vairocana Buddha. It's hard to imagine two religions, Shinto and Buddhism, fusing together, is it? Moreover, Shinto is an ancient Japanese belief system, while Buddhism is a new religion imported from overseas. Why did this happen? First of all, Shinto is not a religion. This is because Shinto has no doctrine or founder. Shinto is centered on reverence for nature and ancestor worship, and is a belief system that has formed spontaneously over a long history. As a result, there are no set standards for faith or something that must be believed in. Buddhism, on the other hand, is founded by Shakyamuni, and is a religion with clear doctrines in the form of scriptures. Shinto was originally polytheistic and flexible in accepting other religions. Buddhist thinking suited the thinking and lifestyle of the Japanese people. For these reasons, imported Buddhism absorbed native Shinto. Shintoism, which values the present moment, and Buddhism, which places importance on the afterlife, are two belief systems that have merged together in the syncretism of Shinto and Buddhism, which continued for over 1,000 years from the Heian period until the modern Meiji government issued the Shinbutsu Bunri Rei law to separate Shinto and Buddhism. Even in modern times, when there is a clear distinction between gods and Buddha, Shinto and Buddhism, and shrines and temples, the Japanese still value these two religious systems. The lifestyle of visiting both shrines and temples is at the root of Japanese spirituality. My parents' house had a small Shinto altar in the kitchen, where a talisman with Amaterasu's name written on it was kept. There was a Buddhist altar at the back of the house, and interestingly, a Christmas tree was placed in the same room during the Christmas season. The religious view of Japan, known as Shinbutsu Shugo, was naturally integrated into our lives, and we lived our lives without any doubts. By the way, in Japan, we were told that even toilets have gods, and that if we cleaned them well, we would become beautiful in the future. I'll also mention this in passing. People from overseas may wonder why Japanese people celebrate Christmas even though they are not Christians. But the answer is that Japanese people have accepted Christianity not as a religion, but as a culture and education. They read the Bible as education, and enjoy Christmas as culture. The topic of Japanese religious views is large and long, so I will leave it to someone more knowledgeable to discuss it another time. Now, let's talk about the history of the Japanese national flag. When did the Japanese national flag start to be used? The first written record of it was in the 797 Shoku Nihongi. If you look at ancient tombs and other places, you will see that the color symbolizing the sun is gold and the color symbolizing the moon is silver, and it is thought that up until the Heian period, the Hinomaru flag was gold on a red background. When did it change to a white background with a red circle? This seems to have been influenced by the results of the Genpei War, 1180 to 1185, which is also written about in the Tale of the Heike. At the end of the Heian period, the Taira clan called themselves the government army, and followed the example of the imperial court by using a red flag with a gold circle on a red background. On the other hand, the Minamoto clan were enemies, so during the Genpei War they used a flag with a red circle on a white background. After the Taira clan was defeated, the Minamoto clan established the shogunate. After that, military commanders such as Oda Nobunaga and Tokugawa Ieyasu were aware that they were the successors of the Minamoto clan, and hoisted the Hinomaru flag in battles. If the Taira clan had won, the Japanese flag might have been red with a golden sun. There is a flag called Nishiki no Gokata that is raised when the emperor ascends to the throne. There are two types of a Nishiki no Gokata, a golden sun disk on a red background representing the sun Amaterasu Amikami, and a silver moon disk on a red background, Tsukuyami no Mikoto, representing the moon, Tsukuyami no Mikoto. They were used as the symbol of the emperor before the Heian period. Tsukuyami no Mikoto is the younger brother of Amaterasu Amikami and is worshipped as the god who controls the moon and the night. Edo period, 17th to 19th centuries. From the 1600s onwards, the shogunate encouraged Japanese ships to use the Japanese national flag as a mark when they set off overseas. In 1854, when Perry arrived, the shogunate officially decided that Japanese ships should fly the Japanese national flag to distinguish them from foreign ships. From this time onwards, the Japanese national flag began to spread as the de facto national flag of Japan. Modern times, Meiji period. 1870. The Meiji government officially designated the Japanese national flag as the national flag. At this time, the design of a red circle on a white background was established. Design, red circle on a white background, aspect ratio 7:10. 1872. The Army and Navy also began using the Japanese national flag as their official flag. Pre-war and wartime era of the Empire of Japan. Late 19th century to 1945, Meiji, Taisho, early Showa. Used as a military flag and a symbol of patriotism in the Sino-Japanese War, 1894 to 1895, and the Russo-Japanese War, 1904 to 1905. The Japanese national flag was used as a military flag and a symbol of national prestige, and also came to be seen as a symbol of war. During wartime, many soldiers went off to war carrying the Japanese national flag with messages written on them. Post-war, 1945. Immediately after Japan's defeat, 1945. GHQ, General Headquarters of the Allied Powers, restricted the use of the Japanese national flag in order to eliminate pre-war and wartime militarism in Japan. 1952. The Treaty of San Francisco restored Japan's sovereignty, and the Japanese national flag was once again freely raised. Also, during the Meiji period, France took notice of the design of the Japanese national flag. The French government requested that the flag be sold to them for 5 million yen, equivalent to 20 billion yen today. The Meiji government was in financial difficulty at the time, but it apparently refused the offer, saying that selling the national flag would be like selling the nation. We don't know if this is true, but since France has a fine national flag, this story seems rather unreliable. The imperial flag, with a red circle on a white background, represented the emperor, represented Amaterasu Amakami, and came to signify a unification of the world. There is another flag in Japan called the Rising Sun flag. The Rising Sun flag has a red circle in the center with 16 rays radiating out from it. This is likely related to the 16 petals of the chrysanthemum, the symbol of the Japanese royal family. Asahi means rising sun and has long been considered an auspicious symbol in Japan. It is used in everyday life as a good catch flag, a flag to celebrate births and festivals, as a sports cheer flag, and in corporate logos. Currently, the Rising Sun flag is mainly used as the flag of the Self-Defense Forces, and different designs are used for the Maritime Self-Defense Force and the Ground Self-Defense Force. The red circle is not placed in the center of the flag but slightly to the left, and the 16 rays radiate out. The design of the rising sun with rays emanating from it is not unique to Japan. Similar designs are widely used around the world, including in the flag of the Republic of North Macedonia, the state flag of Arizona, USA, and the state flag of Lara, Venezuela. Let's look at some countries that are similar to the Japanese flag. First, let's look at the flag of Bangladesh. The official name of the country is People's Republic of Bangladesh. Although the country's name includes People's Republic, it is not a socialist country. It gained independence from Pakistan in 1971. The green of the flag symbolizes the lush landscape of Bangladesh, and the red circle, reminiscent of the rising sun, represents the sacrifices made by the people in the 1971 War of Independence. And the flag of Palau. The official name of the country is the Republic of Palau. It is a country consisting of more than 500 islands located in the Micronesia region of the Western Pacific Ocean. The blue represents the Pacific Ocean, and the yellow circle represents the full moon and prosperity. It represents peace and tranquility, and the abundance of the sea and land. It was once under Japanese rule, and Japan has been providing grant aid and technical cooperation to Palau since before independence in order to promote its economic development. As a result, it is still a pro-Japanese country, and many Palauan words derived from Japanese that are still used today were born. Lao People's Democratic Republic. A republic located on the Indochina Peninsula in Southeast Asia. The Lao flag has the following meanings. The red represents the blood and sacrifices made for freedom and independence. The blue represents the Mekong River and the prosperity of the country. And the white circle represents the full moon, peace, prospects for a bright future, and the unity and solidarity of the country under communism. In this way, each country's national flag contains the history and feelings of its respective country. Next, let's take a look at the flags of other countries and find out what they represent. First, let's look at the United Kingdom. The official name is the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. The Union Jack is a design that skillfully combines the traditional flags of England, Scotland, and Northern Ireland. The red St. George's Cross of England, the blue St. Andrew's Cross on a white background of Scotland, and the red St. Patrick's Cross that symbolizes Northern Ireland, are overlapping to form a single flag. The reason why the flag of Wales is not included in the Union Jack is because when the British flag was established, Wales was already part of England. The reason why the Union Jack is depicted on the flag is that when countries that were once British colonies gained independence, the Union Jack was always depicted on the flag. Canada's current national flag is the maple leaf flag, which was officially adopted in 1965, but the Union Jack was used before that. What we'll look at here is the tricolor flag. The pattern used by the most countries is the third division pattern. This flag is made by dividing the flag into thirds horizontally or vertically and painting each of the three sections with three different colors. It is said that the origin of the tricolor flag is the red, white, and blue flag used during the Dutch War of Independence in the 16th century. It was France that later popularized the tricolor flag. The French national flag, known by the nickname tricolor, was raised during the French Revolution, which had a major impact on the world in the 18th century. This tricolor flag raised during the French Revolution later became the national flag of France, and became widely known around the world as a symbol of liberty, equality, and fraternity. Many countries then began to use the tricolor flag. However, in the movie Les Miserables, this tricolor and another flag appear. That is the red flag, which was said to be the flag of martial law. This red flag was treated together with the French tricolor, but later the French tricolor was adopted as the national flag of France, while the red flag was considered to symbolize revolution and was passed down to socialist and communist countries. It has also been considered a symbol of solidarity, as all human beings have the same red blood running through their veins, regardless of skin color, whether white, black, or yellow. This painting is also popular in Japan. This is Delacroix's Liberty Leading the People. In the center, a woman is depicted holding a tricolor flag and leading the people. When I first saw this painting, I wondered why this woman was half naked. An acquaintance who is knowledgeable about Western painting told me that when a nude woman appears in a painting, she is not a human being but a god. The goddess symbolizes freedom, and her breasts symbolize motherhood, or the homeland. This woman is Marianne, the symbol of France. Marianne is known as the Statue of Liberty, a female figure symbolizing the French Republic, or the personification of the French Republic. By the way, this painting does not depict the French Revolution, but the July Revolution that took place in France in 1830, about 40 years later. As for the tricolor, most countries in Central Europe have adopted it. Other countries in Europe that use tricolor flags also use three different colors to represent their history or characteristics. Now, let's take a look at other countries in Europe that use tricolor flags. Each of the three different colors represents their history or characteristics. The Dutch flag is a horizontal tricolor of red, white, and blue. It was the first tricolor flag in the world to be used as a national flag. It influenced many other national flags. These three colors, white, blue, and red, are known as the Slavic primary colors. These three colors are the same as the German flag, but the fabric, black, collar, red, and buttons, gold, of the military uniforms worn by the volunteer units that resisted France became a symbol of saving the people from French oppression. What are the Pillars of Hercules on the Spanish flag? The Pillars of Hercules are an old place name that represents the mountains on the Gibraltar side and the African side of the Strait of Gibraltar, which are shaped like pillars. Why Hercules? That's because in Greek mythology, the Strait of Gibraltar was created when Hercules split a mountain in half. The French flag was originally red, white, and blue, but the order was changed to red and blue because the blue was hard to see against the sky. This tricolor is the model for other countries' national flags. There is a pizza modeled after the Italian flag. In 1898, pizza chef Raffaele Esposito created the Margherita pizza, inspired by the green, white, and red colors of the Italian flag, as a dish to welcome Italy's King Umberto I and Queen Margherita. The green of the Italian flag represents basil, the white represents cheese, and the red represents tomatoes. The cross on the Finnish flag is a Scandinavian cross common to the Nordic countries, emphasizing the country's affiliation to Northern Europe. When the flag is official, a lion is placed on the cross. The Danish flag is commonly known as Dannebrog red cloth. The flag has a white cross on a red background. The use of the cross symbolizes that the country is Christian. Red has also long been the symbolic color of the Catholic Church. Denmark is the oldest dynasty in Europe, established in the 10th century, and has the second longest history in the world. By the way, the third place is the United Kingdom, the fourth place is Spain, the fifth place is Sweden, the sixth place is Thailand, the seventh place is Bahrain, the eighth place is the Netherlands, the ninth place is Belgium, and the 10th place is Tonga. So, the world's oldest dynasty in first place is actually Japan. The Japanese imperial family, which dates back to the world of mythology and has been in existence for over 1,500 years as far as can be confirmed, is actually considered the oldest dynasty in the world, and is even recognized by the Guinness World Records. This is the Russian flag. White represents Belarusians, blue represents Ukrainians, and red represents Russians. These three countries are brothers. The American flag is also called Stars and Stripes. The Canadian flag is called the Maple Leaf Flag in English. The coat of arms of Mexico in the center depicts an eagle with a snake on a cactus. The Aztec people wandered for 200 years in search of a land with an eagle eating a snake on a cactus, according to the oracle of the god Huitzilopochtli. The Aztec mythology predicts that if they build their capital here, they will prosper. The UAE is made up of 7 emirates: Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Sharjah, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah, Ayman, and Al Quain. The Emirate of Abu Dhabi serves as the capital. Saudi Arabia. It is unusual to have so many characters on a national flag. The flagpole is to be raised to the right, and when raised vertically, a special flag with a layout changed so that the characters do not turn sideways is used. Also, since it contains the sacred characters of God, it is not to be raised at half-mast as a sign of mourning. In addition, although the direction of the sword is reversed on the front and back, the relevant parts of the Shaida are made separately and pasted together on the front and back so that it can be read properly from either side of the flag. Flag of Qatar. With an aspect ratio of 11:28, it is the longest and thinnest national flag in the world. India. The central emblem is called a chakra, an ornament found on a pillar of an Indian temple from around the 3rd century. The 24 axles represent the hours of the day. Nepal. The only national flag in the world that is not rectangular. The crimson of the flag is the color of the rhododendron, the national flower of Nepal, and is also the national color of Nepal. The 2 triangles represent the Himalayan mountain range and the 2 major religions, Hinduism and Buddhism. I forgot to include Africa, so I will introduce 3 countries here. So far, we have introduced the national flags of various countries, but we got the impression that many of the national flags have similar colors. Here, we would like to explain this. There are 3 similar color schemes: Pan-Slavic, Pan-African, and Pan-Arab. Pan-Slavic is a red, blue, and white scheme that represents the common origin of the Slavic peoples. Red represents the sacrifice of precious blood, courage, generosity, love, and courage, the Great Russians. Blue represents clear skies, honor, and purity, the Little Russians. White represents dazzling light, nobility, and frankness, the White Russians. It originates from the rise of the Pan-Slavic movement, an ideological movement aimed at solidarity and unity of all Slavic-speaking peoples in Europe in the 19th century. During this movement, a Slavic conference was held to promote cooperation among Slavic peoples, and the Pan-Slavic colors were decided. The basis was the Russian flag. Countries that use Pan-Slavic colors: Serbia, Slovakia, Slovenia, Russia. The Bulgarian flag was established in 1989 after the victory of the struggle for independence. It was modeled after the Russian flag, replacing the blue parts of the Russian flag with green. This color scheme symbolizes the ideals of freedom and revolution, and is used as the national flag by some non-Slavic countries as well: France, Holland, USA, Great Britain, etc. The Pan-African colors are a tricolor combination used mainly in flags of African countries. Usually, it refers to the tricolor combination of red, yellow, and green. This tricolor has been used in the Ethiopian flag since 1798. Red is said to symbolize the blood shed for martyrdom, green is said to symbolize African vegetation, and yellow is said to symbolize African wealth and prosperity. According to the World Black Development Association African Social Union, some argue that the Pan-African colors are red, green, and black. There are also several African flags that use black. The colors of the Ethiopian Empire, the only African country that escaped colonial rule. Later, African countries that gained independence adopted this color scheme in honor of Ethiopia's strength. The Pan-Arab colors are the red, black, white, and green color scheme used in the national flags of Arab countries. Red represents the blood and sacrifices made in holy war, green represents the fertility of the land, white represents peace, purity, and neutrality, and black represents the oil that brings modernization. In Islam, green is a sacred color. Green is often used in the national flags of Islamic countries. This comes from the color of the turban worn by Muhammad, the founder of Islam. Well, here are the flags of countries in Central and South America. Looking at them, I noticed 3 things. 1. The color scheme of the flags of Latin American countries is similar to blue, white, and blue, and also resembles the flag of Argentina, a faraway South American country. 2. The flags of Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador have the same color scheme. 3. The flags of the other countries remind me of the French flag and the American stars and stripes. First, looking at Argentina's relationship with Latin America, it was founded the longest, in 1816, and its current flag was created in 1818. Argentina then supported the independence movement in neighboring Uruguay, and after its independence, Uruguay modeled its own flag after the Argentine flag as an expression of gratitude. Furthermore, for a short time, there was a country called the Federal Republic of Central America. The flag of this country was modeled on Argentina's, and even after it collapsed in civil war, the constituent countries have still retained little bits of the flag design from that time. Next, the reason why the flags of Venezuela, Colombia, and Ecuador all have the same color scheme is that a country called the Republic of Gran Colombia once existed here from 1819 to 1831. The flag of that time was called the Miranda flag, and it has been used as each of the flags even after the country was divided into 3 countries at the end of the independence movement. The reason why the other countries use the blue, white, and red color scheme to imitate the French flag or the American stars and stripes seems to have been influenced by the American War of Independence and the success of the French Revolution. Of these, only Haiti uses the color scheme of the flag of its former colonial power, France, but after the War of Independence, as the world's first black nation, it removed the white associated with white people from the tricolor in the hope of breaking away from white rule. Thank you everyone for your hard work. So far we've looked at the national flags of other countries, and we've learned that each flag has its own history. Japan is fortunate to be an island nation, and has been lucky enough to have never been invaded by outside forces. We have experienced several invasions, but we have repelled them all at the border. In that sense it is a peaceful country. You can see that by looking at our flag. It doesn't represent territory, blood sacrifice, ideology, or honor. It simply represents the sun, the oldest imperial family in the world, and the supreme Shinto goddess. I am proud of the Japanese flag, which is simple yet beautiful and symbolizes peace, and I will continue to hold it on my chest and support the Japan national soccer team.